It's moving day in Genoa City for Luca, Mariah, and Billy. Adam takes the plea, Chelsea goes cray-cray, and Victor gets his day in court. All this and more on the Restless Wrap-Up, starting now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Well, it's that time again. It is Sunday. Well, wherever, whatever. Genoa City is on fire. Even though there's so much shade, it's still on fire.
And LA is on fire, too.
It is. We are young. We are restless. We are here for the Restless Wrap-Up. I am Alexander, your host for today. Lucretia is Comic-Con in it. She's nerding it up
in
with
my
the
hometown,
comics.
San Diego.
Whoop, whoop, San Diego. So it's just me, Alexander Rodriguez. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at On The Rocks On Air. And my sexy host,
Kiera Giavanni, and you can find me on all social media at Kiera Giavanni.
Also, you can like us on Facebook at The Restless Wrap-Up. Look up our clips on iTunes and YouTube. Give us a good rating.
5 stars, please. Nothing less.
And give us comments. We love to read your comments, especially the sassy ones.
Well, I don't know about those.
No, I love the sassy ones. Keep the sass going.
Nice.
Use the hashtag YNR as well for all of your posts.
Restless Wrap-Up.
Yes. Engage.
Tweet us. Let us know what you think our segment should be each week. We love your interaction.
And today, as always, we end our show with the winners and losers.
Woo!
Best and worst dressed, and of course, my favorite segment.
The shade of the week.
Shade. There was so much going on in Genoa City.
There was.
So I thought we would start with the smaller topics, get that out of the way so we can end it with boom.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. So, let's talk about how many people are checking into the athletic club. Seriously, it's like that maid is like maid service because we have this week Mariah's moving out, so you know
she's gonna need a suite soon.
Yeah, you know she says, "Oh, I'm going to move in with Kevin," and there's that whole like weirdness.
Yeah,
Kevin's
that's
like,
not happening.
Welcome back and peace out because I'm going to probably stay at the athletic club with Nerdy Girl.
And then Luca, he got his suite there.
I love. He's like, I'm leaving your life, and you know you need to be on your own. So I'm going to check into the athletic club.
Suite at the club
where you never are. So let's start with Mariah. Because this ties into Sharon is normal now. Mm-hmm. Didn't you know? When somebody tells you they're normal, it's like when somebody says, I'm classy or I'm funny.
Or I'm sober.
Yeah. Touche. Pinot Grigio in the house. When somebody tells you they're sober, they're at happy hour. Like at the 10 a.m. happy hour.
I totally agree, but I like Mariah moving out. Sharon needs her own space. Like I said, she's one of my favorite characters. Yes, she's a little bit cuckoo, but it's time for her to either reveal or run. You know what? She's going to have to step up to the plate.
And they did have a nice moment where she says, you know, I love you, I need you, and it was a nice moment. And if Mariah finally moves out, because it was back and forth, and I'm like, oh, not any more back and forth conversations. But we're finally going to get rid of those
weird
boring conversations
and then when
in the living
Dylan
room.
walks in and it's just all awkward. So I was glad Sharon was like, bye girl, move out. Where are you gonna go?
She was bye, but then she was like, stay. And then, you know, it's like, because she's normal now.
Right.
You know? But I just love that her room is apparently kept as is at Kevin's place.
Right, even though Natalie is over there.
And they're so rich. Like, wouldn't they have bought a house by now? No, and how awkward. P.S. I have to give a thumbs up to the movers in Genoa City. Those people move faster than anything I have ever seen. Hillary's moving from suite to penthouse to hospital room. Luca's moving his wardrobe, and we know his wardrobe is big.
Wait, but he had like 3 shirts in his suitcase and a pair of socks. When he was unpacking, I was like, oh my God, come on.
I want there to be like an Uber for your outfits, because I don't have to keep all my outfits because I hate doing laundry. I want to call Uber and be like, okay, bring me a suit to wear, and then you can take it back when
it's like
done.
A dry cleaning service. Yeah. They have mobile ones.
Good point.
Yeah.
So
it's going to cost you.
Are they going to build on Mariah being with Kevin, and are they going to accidentally sleep together, and Nerdy Girl's going to walk in? What's going to happen?
I think that will happen, but honestly, I've been reading some of the viewer comments, and they want Mariah out.
What?
They said she's boring. I don't necessarily agree, but I was on the message boards and kind of diving into that, and they were like, this story's boring.
Poor Mariah. She gets hit in the head with like a piece of furniture.
I don't know.
And now people want her out. Poor Mariah. I do agree that they have to do more with her character. She's just everyone's sounding piece, and then she's giving motherly advice. She's too young for that.
Right. So they're like, maybe she'll come back as the real Cassie because, that was her old character. That would be really cool.
Yeah.
I loved Cassie. Thought she died a little too young, so that's a possibility.
And let's face it, her and Kevin, I mean, they don't have the biggest sparks.
They don't.
I mean, they're two nerds in a pod. I mean, the hottest thing that they probably
She would have
do.
more chemistry with Natalie, to be honest.
Can you imagine?
Let's not go there.
I remember college. Anyway.
How long ago was that for you?
How dare you?
We won't go
How
there.
dare you, lady? Okay, so who else is moving out? Luca. Luca. You know what? He backed himself into a corner, and everybody knows it. And what's your take?
I thought it was crazy that he actually sat Summer down and was like, you know what, I'm going to tell you what's really going on. I think he knew the whole time she was, he was just playing her. And like I said, the 3 shirts in the suitcase, he's not serious. He has more stuff at our house. He's going to come back week by week. Oh, I need a shirt. I left my phone charger. Whatever it has to be to come by.
That's so hot. No, but he is so insincere. He saw the writing on the wall. He's not an idiot. Victoria's office, we know, is not soundproof or secure or anything. But I did love how Summer at first was really rude to Victoria, because I was like, oh.
Yeah, she'll be mentioned later.
Yeah, I bought into that. And then Luca went off to the cafeteria to get her a roller,
Right, and she's
a
like,
salad.
sorry.
Yeah, and then just like, guess what? And Vicky.
Kidding.
I like that, because then I could see that Summer was not the dumb girl. And I don't mean dumb in like a patronizing way, but I mean she's so oblivious, and by the end of it, she's back in love with Luca.
Right, which was his plan all along.
I'm already at glass 2. No, but she went into his penthouse or his suite at the Athletic. Was like, come back.
Yeah, and Nick was all pissed off at her. I don't think she needs to keep a good relationship with her mom and dad, because at the end of the day, they're going to have her back.
Well,
So.
I love how Phyllis is giving Summer relationship advice.
While saying, me and Jack are on a little break.
Yeah. It's like, thanks, Mom, for the best
And it
advice ever.
sucks because they're like the picture-perfect couple in theory, and so to see that relationship go to shit, it doesn't give Summer much hope.
Well, I mean, look at Genoa City, though. There we go. Thank you, Mr. Engineer. No, but look at Genoa City. No relationship is stable, except maybe Cricket and
right.
Paul. Yeah. I mean, there's just this constant change, and so you kind of are scared to have affection for these couplings, such as, somebody else might be moving out in the future, which is Stabby. Stitch and Abby have hot relations. They're a hot couple. I've said it before, Stitch has such a great personality that reads through on the camera. Mm-hmm. And so does Abby. And so when they were having relations, I was like, yes!
I believed it, but now that their storyline kind of got backed into a corner, he doesn't want another baby, she does. Where do we really go from there? It's time to move on. We got to see Abby with someone else. Devon might be a contender.
Everybody wants Devon to be with somebody. Leave Devon alone.
Or Daniel. Daniel's back in town.
See, we don't know
exactly
what storyline he's going to be with. But my thing about Stabby, right after they have relations, she's like, let's have a baby. It's like, wah, wah, again.
It's not far-fetched. They had a baby before.
Okay, but you don't talk about it right after the sweat is still on. Like, take a shower, have some breakfast, and then bring up conversation. I think she totally jumped the gun on this, and she's pushing him too much. Hello, Bad Seed is still trying to get fixed.
Yeah, I believe that. Everyone in the chat's like, fans would lose their SHIT if they resurrected Cassie. I agree, but it would just be something a little interesting.
Well, yeah, totally. Give Mariah something to do other than wear questionable outfits.
Right.
Which we will get into that. Anyway. But I think Abby should just let Stitch breathe a little, because then it's bringing Ashley into it. It's bringing everybody else into it. Poor guy is going through a lot. Between his kid, he wants to love his wife. Mm-hmm. And they're rebuilding that. That takes time to rebuild broken relationships.
And then the scene where he reminisced, where she became pregnant, and how happy he felt. That was sweet. And I think he's going to consider it. It just may be a little too late.
Yeah, and don't mention it every time, he wants to get his groove on.
Right, and she's hot. She may be pregnant by somebody else
so
next
hot.
week by the time he's ready.
And I'll say, we know what team I'm on. Consistently, she is gorgeous in the best outfits. I mean, she could literally win best outfit every week, but I, got to keep it moving. But
yeah, you like the classic.
Yeah,
ones.
but when you date somebody and it's like they harp on one thing, it's clingy, clingy, clingy. No, I mean there's a lot going on, and all of a sudden she's all worried about Victor. By the way,
Right.
and I'm like, Abby, I'm like, come on, girl. Okay, so back to Luca. What's gonna happen with that whole thing?
I think Summer's not ready to accept everything that's going on. She's going to take him back. I really believed her when she said, I will ride with you through this and we can go start our own company and do something else. So I see her trying to pull herself away from her family business and going to start something with Luca.
Well, I will say when Victor gets out of jail, which he's on the brink,
right,
he's going to nail Luca to the wall, or they're going to join forces and he's going to be his little meerkat.
Oh, I could see him nailing him to the wall. Victor doesn't really need a meerkat.
Well, he needed Crazy Chloe.
Yeah, but he was behind bars. Now that he's free, he has all his resources back.
P.S. Chloe, you go with your mad wigs, by the way.
I know.
She was like, 1,
and
2, 3.
The lollipop.
That lollipop and the wig action? Crazy. I want to see like a spin-off of Chloe Goes Crazy. Chloe in Vegas.
And another thing, also in the message boards, people are bored with this Chloe situation. They're like, the killing of Delia happened 3 years ago. Move on. And I have to say, I kind of agree with that.
But we needed somebody to come in and kind of push the story along to finalize
We did,
stuff.
but Chloe's a great actress. She's beautiful, spunky. There's other storylines out there for her than that.
Well, and I think that'll develop, but she has a new baby. We have to find out who the baby daddy is. I love Chloe because she looks different than everybody else in Genoa City.
She does, however, there is a striking resemblance to Natalie.
Yeah.
So ethnically ambiguous.
Anyway, poor Summer. Get your stuff together. Be woman. Roar. And let Luca go.
Right.
But I think it was you that told me that some secret that Luca's father might come in and be a bigger part. Oh no, it was in our chat rooms. Somebody said that Luca's father is supposed to come in and get involved with Genoa City.
That would be good. He needs somebody else on his side. Right now, he's just a weird pawn out there in the middle.
Yeah.
It's not working.
And he's becoming that weird, creepy guy that just stares at everybody like this.
Right.
Maybe he and Chloe will start their own company. Crazy kids are
They
us.
said Chloe and Sharon need to go to Fairview. Oh, man, they are keeping Fairview in business.
All right, other movers could be possibly moving out. I put Billy, question mark? Because we know
I saw that. What's up with that?
Because we know the estate's being remodeled, like under his
you
feet,
saw the paint.
literally. You saw the samples.
We'll get into that too.
And we actually heard that it is a joke behind the scenes with the actual actors as to the colors that the mansion is in.
I could see that.
So not only is it like for the viewers to be like, yeah, let's bring back the old mansion. I guess it is an on-set joke that people really want those blue colors out. I don't mind it.
Gray it's depressing.
Well, his life
It doesn't
is
look as
depressing.
luxurious as it did when it was Katherine Chancellor's place.
Yes, that I 100% agree.
This looks like an apartment in Studio City.
But I put Billy moving because we find out this week Brash and Sassy was sold. Yes, how your company gets sold and you don't know, or you don't have to sign something, don't know.
Well, her phone was probably off.
That is so odd. And that was another funny point. Somebody giving advice. Victoria was giving Billy advice on his business. It's like, girl, sit
You
down.
can't even keep your phone charged.
You can't even pay for a drink. Sit down, girl. No, but Brash and Sassy has been sold, and the buyer is
Kane!
Kane.
Which is crazy for Kane because he's always on the back seat. You know what I mean? So for him to step up and take that role in business, good for him.
Totally. I mean, I didn't expect it at all. And like you said, he's always been Lily's kind of, like parrot. Like, you better get him.
Right.
And now he bought this company. Number one, he didn't even tell Lily he bought the company. He's like, hey, girl, I bought this company. Do you notice him as the actor, though? His swag is different. His voice is a little bit deeper. He looks a little sexier.
Because he's no longer just the man in the shadows. He's like, I got a company now. I'm a player in Genoa City, so...
And I love how he embarrasses Billy, being like, yeah, it was a lot of debt on that company. And so I helped do that.
But Jack was willing to help him out of debt. Billy had that pride issue going on. Oops. Okay, wait, I had our live show up.
That's your acting reel. You're just trying to sneak it in here.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
London Bridge is coming down.
Lucretia
today.
leaves us and the set literally falls down. Oh.
Thank you for that production. That was great.
That was awesome. But Kane is becoming the man, and, you know, Billy really needs to wake up. So much to the fact that Billy was taking a nap in the middle of the day. Did you notice that? On his sofa, of course, because everything happens there, but he was taking a nap.
He needs a nap. All that's going on, he's thinking about Phyllis, Brash and Sassy being sold, Victoria coming over talking crap.
This is before he found out Brash and Sassy was sold. He was taking a nap.
Well, everything that's going on with Phyllis and Jack. And then the bad advice that he's been giving Jack these days, I can't stand him for that.
I thought it was pretty low when he was giving Jack advice on relationships and all that. I was like, you dirty
And trying to steer him away from Phyllis. Yeah. I didn't like that.
That's nasty.
And honestly, I'm glad that it happened this week when he had this really awkward buzz cut because it made him even less likable.
Poor Billy. Poor Billy. But what do you think he's gonna have to? Do you think he's gonna fight for the company, or it's already a done deal? And his mom is involved. I love how she let somebody else give the news.
I want to talk about that a little later in predictions. Okay. I do have my take on that.
So Billy's going to have to fight for the company, and, you know, Brash and Sassy could take off in somebody else's hands, and maybe it's time for the Kane-Lily regime to come in. Get Lily out from behind that bar. We know she can play with the big girls.
Right. Oh, that would be great for her.
Yeah. And as a couple, my only thought, my danger is do not let Lily and Kane become the new Chelsea and Adam. All of their scenes have been very syrupy, sweet. Like, honey, you bought a company? How great. I've been like, you what?
Right. Yeah. No. And Lily definitely has that personality. She's spunky, smart. I don't think they'll do that to her.
She's brash and sassy.
Right. Perfect. Make her the spokeswoman.
Which is funny because I thought that Victoria was going to go with Billy to Brash and Sassy.
Mm-hmm. But no, she's busy.
Anyway, so everybody's moving around. Another person on the out, Dr. Neville, he officially gets kicked out from the hospital.
I know.
With, Big Daddy Doctor. He's like, get out. And I was like, ooh, who are you?
His voice, I was like, you're definitely not a doctor.
He could be my doctor. I got the vapors.
Hey.
But I love how Dr. Neville went to saving the world, and now literally everybody but Ashley is against him.
And I love that. I love Ashley sticking up for him. It's so cute. It's great for her to be behind, a man for once. Because she's a strong woman. And it's always just been Ashley. I
wonder her with more of a dark, swarthy man, though. Not Dr. Neville, I made a drug.
I agree. But the viewers really like Dr. Neville. There's been those petitions online to kind of keep him there. So... I don't know. My hands are tied.
This actually is in news. I was going to keep it for later, but since we're talking about him, his actual last episode is July 27th, which is this next week.
Tuesday.
So if you want to keep him going, I guess tweet at YNR and be like,
or get on the message boards. I know they have a whole petition going on. He's a great actor. I don't think they're utilizing him in the right way.
I totally agree. Maybe he'll come back with a vengeance.
Right.
But so what is going on? Hillary's better now, and she's moving back in with Devon. So that kind of doesn't make sense, and it also makes me believe that she was poisoning herself. To get Dr. Neville out of the way. So then, but how can they just transfer doctors? They would need somebody that knows this drug.
Hey.
Which still needs a name.
Well, she's kind of thinking she doesn't need the drug anymore, and Devon is like, get away from my wife. I got this under control. I'm not sure what's going on there. But as someone else was saying in the chat earlier, she looks great in every outfit, even in a hospital gown.
She does. She does. And when she, she has those doe eyes and she just looks up, it's
right. And then when she has those doughy moments with Devon, it's cute, and I really like them together. I wish she would stop trying to play him so much.
She's still playing with him, and I have here Hillary gets chummy with Devon again.
Devin.
Devon, sorry. That's my Latino-ness. We don't know how to pronounce anybody's name. Hello, we call Jesus Jesus. Like, that's how off I am.
Hey. It's all the same.
But, so, obviously, they're getting chummy, and she's like, okay, she's going to move back in the penthouse at the athletic club again. Do you think that she's really having this reemergence of feelings for him?
I think so, because he's done a lot for her. So I feel like she'll always be indebted to him.
But he has always done stuff for her. And remember, she treated him so badly. 2 weeks ago, we were saying, why are you still there? Like, get out.
I know, but then now the Jack thing is taking a little bit of a back seat. So she's kind of coming back to her senses. Like,
but the only reason she's doing that is because Jack is not responding, which makes her a terrible person.
Hey, just because she's terrible doesn't mean that's not her motive.
Ay, ay, ay.
She's very complex. That's why we like Hillary. She's complex.
Okay, so I think she's going to be fired from the foundation, and then she's going to come out of it and be like, wait, what are Lily and Kane doing?
Right, let me go meddle over there and see what's going on. But she wants to keep her foot somewhere in that whole, billionaire circle, and Devon's the perfect place.
So how long do you think it'll take? I mean, how long do you think she's going to keep the bruise up, or is she just really going to get back with Devon?
I think she's going to get back with Devon. I personally do. Everybody in the chat's like, Hillary... Oh, wait. Patrice Randolph said, Hillary's not sick. That heifer is crazy.
Well, we know that she's crazy.
Right. And the tremor has kind of subsided, so...
Her jazz hands.
Right. Hey. I like her, though. I want to see her stick around on the show, so if she needs a new storyline, so be it. We just got to keep Hillary in rotation.
Okay. I'm on the fence with that. Yeah, I am.
What do you want to see for her? Oh.
I want to see her, get run over by a bus. But, but still live. But, so she's knocked out into, a whole nice personality. Genuinely nice. I would love to see her character do a total flip-flop. And for her to, make amends for her badness. And then I want to see Hillary as a nice person.
Yeah, she does owe him an apology. And right now she's not giving it
at least. Well, she needs to put up a little bit. Like Stabby, just don't bring up, can we have a baby? Poor Stitch. Remember when they had a great happy hour?
I know.
Last week, and then Sharon was like, oh, my baby. I was like, Mom. And then he finally has sex, and then Abby's like, my baby. Stitch needs to go to Vegas with the boys for a weekend.
Or someone said he needs to be slapped really hard, and I agree. Get some sense into him.
Speaking of traveling to Vegas, we know that we can't take the Jabot jet because we're on a budget.
Jabot on a budget? I never thought I would live to see that day in Genoa City.
For our viewers just catching up with that storyline, Jack finds out, because he signs the expense report for the Jabot jet, JJ, that the jet never went to Canada.
Right, and he tried to rationalize every possible scenario as to why that was not on the expense report.
She walked.
And finally, Phyllis said, well, I flew commercial. Which is bullshit.
It's so, and do you know what I would do as a husband? I'd be like, commercial? Do you have the tickets? Or
right,
what airline?
Can I see your anything?
Who
your
drove you to the
confirmation?
airline? How about, remember, she didn't even bring any luggage to Billy's house.
Oh, yeah, she didn't.
So,
no luggage tag. I'm so tired of this clueless Jack. And that was an awakening moment. And then I even thought that Ashley would step in at that point and be like, you know what? That doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. And then
because she's a meddler.
Right, but she kind of gave Jack hope for that whole storyline. I was like, we're still dragging this out. Okay.
And if she calls Jack Jackie one more time, I might cry.
That's cute. No, it's like the whole red thing. But
he's talking about his divorce, and she's like, oh, Jackie. It's like, no, we're not talking about a playground relationship. We're talking about my marriage.
But she's always called him Jackie, and it's cute.
So Phyllis, to me, I thought she was going to come clean, actually, to be like, you know what, I didn't go to Canada because I was having issues with our relationship. That would have made more sense than the ridiculous lie of I flew commercial.
Yeah. But where would she say she went?
To the cabin.
Oh, okay.
You know, she loved that cabin.
Sure, the cabin.
Good kidnapping at the cabin.
The cabin.
Or it could have been her opportunity to just come out with it.
She's not ready, and I don't think she really decided who she wants to be with yet.
I felt bad for her up to this point because we've all fallen in love with people that we should not, and sometimes there's just no logic and rhyme or reasoning. But now she's kind of almost boasting it and like, well, I got my own room now, and so I can kind of throw it in your face. Not throw it in your face, but she's just kind of getting like this edge that now it's becoming natural to her to hurt Jack.
Yeah,
and
then
like
Jack offering Billy a job at Jabot to work alongside Phyllis. I was like, oh God,
that
Jack,
was
come
funny.
on.
That was really funny.
You thought so?
Yeah, I did. Phyllis is gonna be like, okay, Billy, let's get together. I'd be like, well, I lost my company. Can you order pizza tonight?
Hey,
She'll be like,
Cheyenne
no.
McCoy in the chat, she said she hates the Jackie name too, but our Melvin fan is on my side. She says, I love Jackie. So we're kind of 50-50 here with the Jackie name.
But it's like a really good chocolate. You can't eat it every day. Like, you can't call Jack Jackie every single moment because then it loses its affection.
But they don't have scenes every single day.
That is true. But they share an office. Apparently, everybody shares a Jabot office.
With no lock on the door, no security.
I want to. You know who I want them to cast next?
Who?
And, hey, I'll audition. I want one of the companies to have a really sassy receptionist that's always at the front going, like no lines.
That would be cool.
But just be like, but who really knows everything?
Because sometimes they have really sassy reporters and things like that.
Yes.
Yeah, a receptionist would be great.
I would love
Hey.
it. You know, if Luca really wanted to have infiltrated the business, he would have started sleeping with whatever receptionist or, that. I'm just
Let's
saying.
see. I think you're the only one who ever thought of that. So if we see that next week, we got to give you producer credits.
Because,
No,
because our cork literally popped out.
How did that happen? Okay.
But it's funny that we're thinking about characters to add because we know what you would be brought in is like the sexy vixen that causes problems.
Yes.
Bethany times 10. I'd audition for the nerdy receptionist that's sassy. Commercial.
Okay.
Okay.
In the chat, they said there should be a support group, Liars Need Help support group.
For Genoa City.
For Genoa City. I get it. Oh, that would actually be cool. Like a whole little group and we see them go there and bare their soul. Because a lot of times we don't get to see their inner thoughts. They put on this face,
You know what?
in
That's a
front
really
of the
good
characters.
point.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
We see inner thoughts more in the flashbacks, and I would love, I'll say it again, I'm a huge fan of how we've seen these characters from
Yes.
the beginning. I like the flashbacks, and if you miss an episode or so, you get to see the flashbacks, but they're from like last week or like an hour before, like earlier that day.
Sometimes we see old school Victor and Nikki.
I want to see more of
And the
that.
crazy thing is they look the exact same
Yes.
age in those flashbacks.
These soap opera stars, and they can bring it over and over.
Right.
It's like Nikki is crying one minute, laughing the next, almost drinking the next. These actors give it their all.
They do. I mean, it's their whole life, and it's a great gig. You get to be the same person over and over, and you really get to like develop a rapport with that character inside. So it's great.
And what I love is a lot of these actors really play with their fans on Twitter. They'll respond.
They do,
They'll
they do.
listen, and I always love that.
They let a lot of their personal life out.
Yeah. So
Cool.
good job, cast. Love it. So I guess we should kind of get. Oh, just are we done with the Jack and Phyllis?
I would say so. I mean, like I said, him offering Billy a job, it just really, it just really puts this, the nail in the coffin as to how vulnerable Jack is and how much he really wants to believe Phyllis. And I hate it. Like I said, in the past, Jack's father has always come to him in a dream sequence and been the voice of reason for him. So I'm waiting for that to happen.
Come on, Jack.
Wise up.
I miss old Jack. That he
And a lot of people are wising up in Genoa City, but we have Jack, we have Dylan, and Summer that are still a little bit clueless this week. Yeah, I don't get it.
It's something in the water, and
Or the iced tea.
Yes, love those iced tea. I can't wait for Jill and her hubby to come in because they're gonna kick some butt. She's gonna be like, "Are you guys blind? This is what's going on." She's really gonna come into it. All right, so I call this part 2 pleas in a pod.
Oh.
Adam takes the plea.
Rightfully so.
Number 1, what kind of plea is 30 years? By the way, you need a better lawyer. Sorry, Michael. That's not a plea. That's a regular sentence. Not that I've killed somebody.
Yeah, I'm like, perfect music, perfect
I feel
time.
like Jerry Lewis.
Yeah. I don't have much to say about that.
I will have to say they did a good idea or a good job of building the tension before he actually had to leave. Like he was saying his goodbyes.
Like I said, that whole dream sequence or scene where he was going to jail, that was cool. And he got to spend a lot of time with his wife and his son, but I don't think he'll be in there long. Victor's going to get him out. We got to get Victor out first, and then Victor will come back for Adam.
It was funny seeing them both in jail, though. That was funny. Because they were on either sides of the bars, and it was almost like we were seeing young Victor. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was kind of like foreshadowing, like when Darth Vader was hanging around Luke Skywalker. Like, that's how I felt.
Yeah.
And there was that energy. It was like, they're both bad boys.
And it's the last that we'll see of Victor behind bars, and I'm so happy for that because he's such a great actor. Get him out of the prison blues.
And back in his suit.
Right, back in his suit, running stuff, telling people what to do. Jack made that funny comment this week about, we won't see Victor at the dry cleaners. I doubt he takes his own clothes
so funny.
to the dry cleaner.
Really, really funny. It's poor Nikki, by the way. She's like, going to the cleaners. One comment I have to say, whenever they have kids on the set, I love it because you actually get to see them interact. Mm-hmm. Connor doesn't give a crap. That kid who plays Connor, he's looking around. He's not even paying attention. Poor Adam was like crying his eyes out, and Connor was like, what? I would like to see Connor just a little bit older to kind of respond to what's going on.
Yeah. It'll happen.
Okay, all right.
I mean, we might see him 30 next week.
With Max.
You never know what happens. Exactly.
Yes.
Max is definitely going to grow up and be a villain. If they don't use that storyline, then
I love it. Victor's a villain in his own right, but he's like the gentleman villain. Mm-hmm. Luca's kind of like the greasy villain.
Villain just because he doesn't have that pull or
exactly.
That rapport with everyone, so he has to be that way.
I would like to see a younger villain that is just really good and crafty.
Mm-hmm. And that used to be Adam until Adam got good and all of that.
Well, it's because he married Chelsea. And
exactly.
She set him right because she could tell you whatever to do. You'd be like, yes, honey.
Right.
She is gorgeous.
Beatrice Randolph in the chat said, Jack needs to meet with John in the park. And she also said, FYI, they found out that Adam will be getting out on a technicality. Makes perfect sense. Well, I didn't think he would be in there that long.
The technicality would be finding the original pages, right?
Mm-hmm. Which Chloe is. So.
Right, which she almost burned in front of her 3 wigs, remember? You're right, though. That lollipop action, kudos to the director, or if that was her own actress choice.
No, that scene was great.
Because it's such a juxtaposition of there's this evil woman who holds this man in the palm of her hands, and she's acting all innocent with the lollipop, and it was a little play on woman dominance, a little phallic going on. That was a great...
And I have to say, I watched it at like 2 a.m., and I was a little scared. Who was this girl?
I was scared and turned on. And for me, that's a lot.
A little creepy.
Creepy that I was turned on. Okay, so he may be released on a technicality. Okay. So that would be both Newmans out of jail. Mm-hmm. That means that he would... I wonder if... Well, we'll get that into predictions because Victor will still have control over him.
Absolutely.
Let's just talk about Chelsea going cray-cray.
Oh, my God. With that scalpel? Honestly, I couldn't believe that. I'm like, a scalpel of all things. As strong as Victor is in any other scene, he's going to be intimidated by a scalpel.
Scalpels can really cut. Hello, that's why they use them in surgery.
I get it, but if you could see the look on her face, she didn't even look like she was prepared to use it. You know what I mean? She didn't come there to hurt him.
You know what? If she had come there with knowing what she was going to do, she would have brought a knife from home or a gun or something, and she didn't. I think, and I really got this frantic, and kudos to her for bumping it up for that scene, because when she held that scalpel, I mean, she was on fire. She was a maniac mess. And then when you're like, have all this fire and rage and you have this tiny little scalpel.
And he's like a prisoner in a high security prison. Where was his security at that point? No, nobody was watching from outside.
Dr. Daddy Issues was like, get him, I don't care.
Right.
I'm spurned. But we see her unraveled. Remember, she went home, she broke a vase. And I say vase because in Genoa City they have vases, not vases. Vase.
And that whole little scene with her mother. How did you feel about that?
Okay. I'm much, much younger than you. So you don't remember, her mom is played by Daisy from Dukes of Hazzard.
Absolutely.
Boom! Mic drop. So for
You're
me...
not that young. I remember that. I got my Daisy Dukes on today. You guys
yes,
can't
you
see,
do.
but...
We all can see. No, you were, I even told you were on point today.
You did.
Okay. Genoa City, you better watch out.
Hey.
I would love for you to be on the show and the camera just starts at your feet and like rolls up and then you're just like, see. Next time on Young and the Restless.
I'm down with that. Yeah, but that whole scene with Chelsea and her mom.
It was kind of out of place.
Weird. It was very out of place. Because I think the actress that played her mother was a little bit more fun and relaxed. And Chelsea was very tense in that scene, so it didn't match.
I thought the mom was going to be a bigger part of it and kind of talk her down and kind of be with her.
Yeah, rather than, oh, a scalpel. What's that?
Yeah, it was a weird scene. You're right. She was in and out. Just like the actress who guested as the reporter, who used to be on Community. I mean, she's a great actress. What are they going to do with that? That was kind of, she was in and she was out. Like, what happened?
Yeah. I don't know.
But I did love to see her returning to TV. And I actually thought they did have a very funny chemistry. So I could see more of that. I just want to see where they're going.
On better circumstances and terms.
Totally.
Yeah, when it's not so high stakes.
I could see her as the fun, crazy mom that takes Connor out to Chuck E. Cheese with boxed wine.
Because Connor needs that.
He needs...
Desperately, he needs to get out of that house.
He does. Maybe that's why he's uninterested. He's like, oh, God, I just have to go back upstairs again. It's like flowers in the attic. Like, take him to Chuck E. Cheese. Let's engage his senses. Let him go play with Max.
Oh no, he can't play with Max.
But I did love that we got to see Chelsea and Adam separate.
Yes.
We love them as a couple. They're, we know that they're really good friends, offset. But it was nice to see them having to fight for life on their own. We saw how she handled it. We saw how he handled it. That was exciting to me.
And it showed us that they're better together than apart.
Right. But we got to see Chelsea kind of again, even though she was acting crazy. Yeah. It was kind of a throwback to who she was, and it's kind of she's kind of awakening, which I really, really liked.
But I feel like he's able to talk her off of the ledge and calm her down and get her to more of that domesticated. Okay, you're Connor's mom role.
But I don't know, because remember when he had his freak out, he broke, I think it was a mug, and then he ripped that teddy bear apart.
The teddy bear.
So I just thought it was funny that he left, and she does the same thing. Girl, what is in that coffee at your house?
Pinot Grigio, apparently.
Yes! There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so let's get to Victor's day in court, and the whole week built up to this. Again, we talk about, we really like the pace that the show is keeping. Let's move through this. Let's move on. That appeal date came super fast for me.
It did, and it was rightfully so. We've always said we wanted more action throughout the week, because in Young and the Restless history, it's always been Friday. Friday has been the big episode. You wait for Friday, but now Wednesday brings some crazy storylines. So it's really good to see it take that turn, and I'm glad that they're letting things out early.
Yes, I totally agree with you. Especially when your week is going and Wednesdays are so difficult in your week, and you're like,
hump day.
Yeah, for Stabby it was. But then you get to these exciting moments, and I totally agree. But then Thursday and Friday, you're waiting there, and then it's like, oh, okay.
Right. Well,
yeah. So Victor's big day. I thought we were going to have Cricket as the prosecution.
Yeah.
There was no real prosecution or objections to all the niceties.
No, it was just kind of all of the family telling their stories, which I thought was beautiful. I loved those scenes. I loved that scene from Victoria, from Nick, Nikki.
But Nick said he wasn't going to go in and support him that much, but he ended up doing it.
He really did, yeah. I think Victoria kind of influenced him because she went first. So, of course, seeing your sister say all these nice things about your father, you're going to be compelled to do so.
And I loved the camera shot, and it showed all the Newmans together. It's like, there's a lot of power in this.
It's a united front, if anything.
That excited to me. And you got to see, again, the new Newmans, the older Newmans, and it's it's like a family portrait. I like that. But then I was afraid it was going to be all one-sided. And then we saw who came charging in.
Phyllis, which, girl, Victor has done you more good than bad.
Phyllis the Menace. And she's one to talk about somebody else's bad actions, right?
Right, yeah. She's acting real privileged at this point.
Yeah, it's the room service in the room. It's not having to clean anything.
Right. The shakes, what was that, gluten-free or the soy shakes for the hangover cure, and then we can call Billy and get a whole nother recipe. She's just enjoying her freedom right now.
Phyllis. And she's giving advice left and right.
Right. Yeah. No.
I would love to see like a First Wives Club type take, and all like the wives get together and be like, we're tired of the men in Genoa City, and all the guys are together, and it's
I absolutely think that's missing. We need more interaction from all the characters, because right now it's like a 2-3 kind of scenario. But if we get everybody in one room, which like the courthouse scene was great for that.
Yes.
We've seen that a little bit in the hospital.
I totally agree with that, and I think we can add a little bit more comedy to it. I know there's a lot of serious stuff going on, but these characters also, like, they're friends, they're going to joke with each other.
Right.
I would love to see a little bit more comedy, and to your point, I love the interaction, because sometimes we forget how detailed the history is, and then sometimes somebody will say, oh yeah, Mom, and I'm like, Mom? And
exactly,
I'm like, oh,
especially
yeah,
if you're
right.
a new watcher who's, got on in the last year or so. You don't know the whole history with Katherine Chancellor and all of that, so when the whole wing situation was going on, you wouldn't know unless you've been watching for years. Yeah, they do flashbacks and things like that, but it's really more towards the veterans.
Yeah. So more comedy.
Yes.
Okay, Jackie.
Right, exactly. Jackie, Red. I know you hate when he calls her Red, but I think that's
Now
cute.
it's just sad.
Now it's sad, but it was cute from the beginning.
And I just wonder how he's going to find out.
Yeah.
I think
we
Billy's
kept
gonna
getting
F it
little
up.
inklings of like, okay,
Yes.
today's going to be the day.
That's what I
then
thought.
That. And then obviously we've seen Jill may be the one to actually bust them next week, but I mean, in predictions we'll talk about it, but I don't think Jill's going to let the
And
cat
Billy
out
has
of the bag.
nothing to lose at this point. I mean, he doesn't even have his own place,
company.
really.
Where's his son?
Right? Those are some good nannies in Genoa City.
Right, Victoria is,
Mrs. Doubtfire is everybody's nanny, just taking care of him. But Billy doesn't have a relationship. He doesn't have his hair anymore. I mean, he's
that
like
buzz cut.
I think it's cute.
You did?
I do, but it makes him look so young that he doesn't just fit.
He looks a little
with the
immature
other
with
Abbotts.
Phyllis. Absolutely.
Yes, Phyllis.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes when you fall for a younger person, it's just for a few reasons.
Absolutely, but he's looked handsome and distinguished every other week until now. Now all of a sudden he looks like a boy, and it's time for her to really decide. It's like, okay, this little boy or Jack who's been there,
I wonder if the actors have to clear it with like if they go get a haircut.
I would think so. I think the haircuts happen on set. I may be wrong, but
set?
That would make sense.
That'd scare me. What if you had like an old makeup woman who was like, oh, I want to give you a fade? It's like, girl, you are faded.
Stop it. No, they're drinking water on set.
Oh, please.
Hopefully.
A lot of water in those mojitos.
For that iced tea.
Love that iced tea. We
So
didn't
what
see
did
much
we
food this year.
miss? Oh, yeah, we didn't see a
We
lot
didn't
of
see
food.
a lot of a lot of food. I think we kind of covered everything. A lot happened.
Well, no,
there was a
what
lot of
about that breakdown scene with Phyllis when she was crying?
Oh, yes.
And it just seemed so real. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You've
you're
all
right.
been like, I don't care if it's a relationship or just any kind of decision in your life. You've all been torn about something. You know what I mean? It's like, do I go this way or do I go that way? And you genuinely see that she sees herself both directions. And
totally
she's just
agree.
kind of in the middle. So I really felt her when she was crying.
And she knows no matter what she chooses,
Either way,
she's giving up
doomed,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I actually forgot about that moment. That was a really good moment because she was by herself. She wasn't acting for anybody. And it was kind of like she was finally able to let her guard down. And that was a good actor moment for her.
It was great.
I felt that outburst was real. And she was just like, bleh, letting it
Yeah, you get
all out.
tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, go Phyllis.
Yeah, that was a good moment.
And like I said, having to keep that front up for her daughter and give her advice that she doesn't even really believe in, that's tough.
I just think it's funny. What else do we have here?
The fight between Billy and Kane. We didn't even talk about that.
Boom. Lead us into it because I was all for it. I was like, pause, popcorn. That was a popcorn moment.
That was an incredible moment because, like I said, Kane kind of takes the backseat. He's always Lily's sidekick, and he'll make a little comment here and there. But to see him just fight with his brother like that, awesome.
So good. I mean, and Kane, I think, enjoyed it. He got off on it, so much so he wouldn't, wash his mouth after him. That was so good. And we finally, Billy is getting kicked in the ass, figuratively and physically. That was such a great moment. And good for Kane. Kane is becoming the man. That is a man in Genoa City.
He is.
He's the romancer. Now he's taking over a company. He's, oof.
Yeah, we'll get it.
He's excited because he's not just so one-sided, which we're seeing from the men and some of the women. We're seeing Sharon as the frightened squirrel all the time.
No, but this week she was a little bit more relaxed.
Just because she said she was normal.
But Mariah was out, so that's the one person who really has a hold on us that knows our secret. So if we get her out, now I can sell whatever fantasy I need to sell within my house.
But I wonder if Sage is going to start coming back now that Mariah's not there to say, what? She's going to end up clobbering the mailman.
The real actress of Sage, she got a good new job somewhere else, right?
Well, she's very talented, probably.
Yeah, so how many more scenes can we have of her without a real role? Could happen, but...
Yeah. So, Kane, here's to you for being the new man in Genoa City.
Cheers.
And I really would like to see more conflict with Billy. And I think we'll get into this in predictions, too.
Yes.
Their story has just begun.
Yes.
And I'm ready for a new generation of dueling divas.
Yeah, because the whole Nikki Victor dueling with Jack and everybody, that whole Jabot Abbott thing, it's kind of playing itself out.
Yeah.
And I know they're predicting that that's going to happen now that Brash and Sassy was acquired by Kane and that Victor's going to come out looking for a vengeance there, but they have to have something else.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yes, we need a Latino family there with a taco truck.
Well, we got Luca. We have hope for that. And you said Luca's father maybe coming into the scenes a couple weeks from now.
I hope his dad is as swarthy and handsome as Luca is. I'm all about that family tree.
As long as he looks good in a suit.
Yes, and Luca could, we know he's a bad guy. He looks damn good in his clothes.
He does, but also out of him in that pool scene with the little Baywatch boxers.
He doesn't even have an ounce of fat on him. I'm like.
Yeah.
Look who I'm talking to.
Hey.
Miss Fitness over here. All right, let's get to our segment. I love these segments, and I have to say, Kiera, I think about you every minute I watch the show because I'm like,
really?
I wonder if this is the shadiest moment. So this is my favorite segment.
I think about you when I see food on the show, and I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna notice this.
Oh, I thought for other reasons because I'm a little husky.
No. No shade towards you.
No.
We saved that for the segment.
Yes. All right. Show me what your shadiest moment is.
Woo! Okay, I'm a little conflicted as usual. I don't make up my mind. There was a lot to choose from, but I think I should have some music at this point. No? Okay, we'll just get ready.
Do you want me to sing a song?
If you can sing, that would be great. So, the shadiest moment of the week. Honestly, I had two, so I couldn't really choose. We'll start with number one. So that was Summer to Victoria. And she said, if you're looking for someone to blame because of the things at Newman, then you should take a look in the mirror.
Yes, ma'am.
So for her talking to her established aunt who is a player in the Newman company and to say those things to her, shade.
Shade. And we know later that she was playing. There was some reality to it.
Absolutely.
And Victoria sees it. Poor Victoria.
I know, poor Victoria. And then, once again, I have to touch on the Billy and Kane fight. So when Kane came over and they found out that Kane acquired Brash and Sassy, and on Kane's way out, he was like, you're out and I'm in. Oh, and I like the yellow, which was the paint shade.
That was good.
On the freaking, what was that? The wall. They had a couple choices.
The samples, yeah.
Oh, and I like the yellow.
That was a good moment because...
I stole your company and I'm telling you what color to put on your wall.
Yes, because
shade.
This isn't your house anymore, sir.
Exactly.
So good. Yes. Very good. All right. Best and worst dress. Again, there was a lot to choose from. Worst dress, and poor Mariah. Best dress, yes. I have to give it to Chelsea Cray Cray. This outfit, she wore this black Inspector Gadget, but I'm naked underneath. This is so sexy to me, and I mean, you have to agree, the cut is great, fits her body well, the belt is in the right place. It was a little satiny, and she had her hair pulled back. She's in some power right here. When the hair goes back, I mean, she's ready to fight.
Definitely, she has a lot going on this week. So
yeah,
it's a powerful moment.
I love where the split is, where it's not on the side.
You can kind of see the inner thigh a little bit.
Look at her legs. Cocoa butter, girl.
Yes.
Like, she looks good. And it fits a scalpel.
Definitely.
So amen for this. Best dress, Chelsea. Good job. Worst dress? Oh, I don't even know. Look at this.
How many times has she been the worst dress?
That's what I'm saying. Like, Mariah, so she looks like a caterpillar at a picnic here. And we've talked about she's a curvy girl. She's sexy. She's got curves. Let's start seeing some of those curves. So not only is it long in the front, it looks like a nightie she's wearing.
It looks even longer in the back,
It is longer in the back, which doesn't make sense to me.
So then but does she have pants on?
She has pants on,
we shouldn't have put pants on.
It's so unbecoming, and even in this picture, it's actually an action shot. It looks to me that she's telling the stylist, "What are you doing,
girl? What?
This is just."
Even if they open one or two buttons, that might have helped. And then a little bit of bounce to her hair.
Yes.
We could have saved it. It's not the worst.
Maybe. I don't know.
I'll wear it next week, and then we'll decide.
This is, well, hello. You could wear like a paper bag and be like, oh my. But no, this doesn't make sense to me from the pattern to the fit to the length. It does not make sense to me. And we need to start seeing sexy Mariah. And that's all,
now that
all
she
there is
moved
to it.
out, hopefully we'll get some of that.
Well, because she'll be dressing for Kevin now, not just crazy
not just
Sharon around the house.
Sharon, who's wearing heels to mop and sweep.
So
choose.
Right. It was a tie for worst dress. Now, I know that you totally disagree with me on this.
I did.
You know, Victoria goes from being the best to the worst dress so often. I think they're still trying to figure out what her style is. So here's like a dress suit with these weird cut shoulder. It's kind of like a cape, but just for her arms. Like, she's cold and she needs to cover her arms, and then the cape like moves out from her arm, and this is perfect. You see how one side is covered, but then when she moves her arm out from it,
the other side is exposed. And I have to agree, that is a look that's in. I shop all the time. I'm guilty, and I've tried on many jackets like that, and some are cute, some are not. So it's really a hit or miss.
Okay, so tell me where you would wear this, because part of why I choose an outfit too is it has to be appropriate. She would not wear this in the office.
No, not in the office. I agree. She should open up that button and have a cute, sexy dress underneath and just drape it over her shoulders. Yeah, that could work.
So where would you wear this outfit to?
I would wear that outfit to lunch. In Genoa City, yes. They have power lunches.
Yes, that is true.
Absolutely.
But again, when we're talking about the complexion doesn't fit her. Her hair is
if it was
stringy
black
and,
or white,
black
I think it would have worked.
And I thought, God, this outfit looks so familiar to me. So I had to throw this picture in because I'm a Trekkie. Oh, there's the outfit. There we go. With the shoulder pads, with the arm coverings.
And I have to say, when I saw that, I was like, I do see a little bit of resemblance, but there's a lot of shade in this.
And the shoulder pads came back too. I mean, no, it's just too much. We know
love a good
Victoria.
shoulder pad. I do. That's how I grew up. My grandma had shoulder pads in every single suit of hers. And I was like, why is your suit so high?
My mom in the 80s had shoulder pads. And then she used to play piano. One time she's playing the piano, and all of a sudden, the shoulder pad pokes out from her. While she's playing the piano.
And it depends on where you shop these days. Like BCBG, I get a lot of my suit jackets from there. They have shoulder pads. It's great.
Well, yeah, and it can help to kind of build like a smaller waist if you need to. But that was just...
Yeah, what color?
All right, Lucretia is not here, but in her honor, we are going to do the winners and losers of the week. Who is your winner of the week?
I was a little conflicted, which I always am these days. I can't believe it. But I have to give it to Kane once again. Like I said, Kane came from nowhere to being a player in Genoa City. He was always taking the backseat. He was Lily's sidekick. Now he's speaking up. He has a company. He's fighting a little bit. So go, Kane. You are my winner this week.
And he knows how to do a romantic setting, which we talked about.
He does. We talked about that. Yeah, he actually knows how to have a successful lovemaking scene. That's not awkward. We don't cringe.
Yes.
We don't fast forward.
And I actually put here, I said, I would love for him to show Billy how to remember how to be a man.
Yeah.
And that whole punching thing, instead of Billy fighting him, he should be like, you know what, you're right. Mm-hmm. Let's join forces and let's be Brash and Sassy, two wild and crazy guys.
Predictions.
Yes.
So who is your loser this week?
It's Billy.
Yeah.
You know, Billy, week after week, is just becoming more and more of a lazy kind of jerk.
Yeah.
You know, and I know he's in love with Phyllis, but you're a father. Mm-hmm. Provide for your kid. Be a man. Don't live in some old woman's house. If they want to remodel it, say, you know what? Here's the keys. I'm going to do fine, and I'm going to have like a man cave. Yes.
Or a suite at the club.
And the biggest thing was that he was taking a nap during the day. I'm sorry. Unless you're over 50, do not take a nap during the day.
Over 50 or $1 billion in.
Yeah, that's true. Because you can pay other people to do anything. Right. But he can't even keep hold of his company. And then he finds out from Victoria that his company was sold. Billy, get your is together. Right?
Definitely.
All right. I don't know how much more time we have left. Lucretia's usually so good. Okay. Then I would love to get into predictions. That's French for predictions.
Oh my God. Our music, our lights.
TV
Predictions. Do you want to lead it out?
No, you lead it, girl.
Okay.
You're a better predictor than I am.
I would agree.
Yeah, the only one I got right as a joke was Ian going to the cabin. That's the only one I got
That's
right.
true. Okay, so I definitely think that Kane and Billy are going to join forces within the coming weeks and run Brash and Sassy together. I don't think Jill did it out of spite to hurt Billy.
Oh, it's tough love.
I think she wanted to bring them together. Tough love. Like, you don't have your ish together. I'm going to show you how to do it and bring you in on the back end.
I like that so much because Jill has always been... You know, when we first saw Jill on the scene, she was like, but then she was smart and she would manipulate people into doing what she wanted. That's a really good prediction. To add to your prediction, I think Victoria is going to somehow get involved with that too because she's going to be jobless in a week or so.
And that's her baby.
Yep.
I get that. And then I also had written down Adam may allow Dylan and Sharon to adopt and raise Sully because that's going to come out soon. And, you know, Adam is involved in that whole situation.
Well, that's interesting.
You know, he will get out eventually. We know that, but how long they'll prolong it, we don't know.
I think he'd be willing to do that. I'm looking at it from the other side. I think Dylan's going to be so upset. That might not even be an option. He might be like, Sharon, goodbye.
Yeah, but, you know, when you see your kid and all of that, and you were attached to him, it's a possibility.
I'm only attached to Pinot Grigio, so that emotion is lost on me.
And then, well, not a prediction, but just a hope for the next coming weeks. Dylan, Jack, Summer, get your act together. Get out of this clueless slump that you've been in. It's not becoming of any of them as an actor.
I totally agree, especially from Summer.
Yeah.
She's a Newman. You're a smart girl.
Well, no, Jack. If anybody I expect to be on his stuff is Jack. He's been here, done that with women, men.
Like a scene I would love, it would be like all three of them to end up at Travis's bar.
Is that even still running? We haven't seen it.
Who bought Travis's bar? Remember my funny joke from last week was Billy needs to go buy Travis's bar.
Prediction. That could happen.
Prediction. You guys, we have so much fun watching the show. We have so much fun talking. I know sometimes it seems like we rag on the show, but we love it. We love it so much. We love the actors, and we especially love your comments. So thank you so much for listening to us every Sunday. My predictions, you know, they're kind of in line with you. I think Billy is going to, before he turns around and is like, okay, Kane, let's run the company together, I think he's going to have a week of being an alcoholic, and he's going to go cause problems, and he's going to drunkenly tell Jack about him and Phyllis.
Oh. Or about him and a girl, and then Jack put two and two together? Or you think it's going to be outward?
Or he'll get drunk and tell Ashley. Or he's going to get drunk and start banging on Phyllis's door, and then Jack is going to have been inside or something.
Well,
he's
we kind of saw for the next week that Jill was going to be the one to bust them out.
Well, she says, I know
you
something.
in bed with my son, something along those lines. And like I said, I don't think that they're going to give her all the info. Or if she does put two and two together, she's not going to be the one to call Billy out. 'Cause that's her son. At the end of the day, she loves him. She knows he's a little off, and she's going to give him some grace. Like I said, it's time for him to run Brash and Sassy with Kane.
Excited. I would actually buy something from Brash and Sassy. Like
I
if
would
Brash
too.
and
It's
Sassy,
a great name, actually, for a cosmetics company.
Yeah. So if like they put out like a men's cologne, I would do it.
Or a bronzer or something, anything.
That is so hot. That is so hot. Okay. Our news and gossip for Y&R.
AfterBuzz TV News.
This just in.
Hot off the press.
Hot off the press. I did leak a little bit earlier that Dr. Neville's last episode is July 27th, which is this week. That's probably not the last that we've seen of him. A big shout out to Young and the Restless. This September, they are going to celebrate their 11,000th episode.
Ow.
And so I wanted to share, they just took this picture this last week. It's their official cast photo for this year. And I mean, you look from left to right. Number one,
Gorgeous.
everybody looks stunning. Whoever, the photographer, the stylist, everybody looks so good. And you get to see all the different generations.
How do you get that many people in one room at the same time looking that great?
I know.
And there's no Victoria Rowell anywhere?
And it's just so exciting to see the generations and the history of the show. 11,000 episodes. I mean, that's just crazy. So a big shout out to that. We have some personal news here for your hosts of the show. This Tuesday, Lucretia Lyon and Kiera Giavanni
Yes.
are going to be my guest co-host as we interview Corey Feldman at On the Rocks radio show, which is Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on iHeartRadio, blah, 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 everywhere you want to be. So check this out because we'll be drinking too.
Absolutely. And if you follow us on all of our social medias, we tell you to do, you'll see the links and you can watch, comment, give us some tips, some love, 5 stars, whatever you got to do.
Kiera, where can our viewers find you?
Every week, you can find me on all social media at Kiera Giavanni.
Also find us on Facebook at The Restless Wrap-Up. We're going to be posting little tidbits here and there. I'm Alexander Rodriguez. You can find me at Instagram, at Twitter, at On The Rocks, on air, and ontherocksradioshow.com. Come watch us on Tuesday. Stay tuned for our bold breakdown next. And until next Sunday, send us your comments. We're listening.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.